are live. Oh my goodness.
Live again.
Live
Has it
again.
really been a week?
And I will do the intro here in a second. Welcome to episode 106 Video Game Bullshit. We are missing a coffin today, Tristan.
Yeah. I know he had a really rough week at work. So
Yeah,
he's been kind of worked ragged. There's a possibility that Coffin is passed out right now.
he's sleeping. Well, if he
Could be.
pops in, we'll adjust.
Yep.
Like on the audio side, people just hear him pop in. On the video side, I'll have to swap it over, flop it over. uh, so how was your week, Tristan?
Oh, interesting as always. The saga continues. Um, Man, I don't know if I want to say that. Whatever. I don't care.
The saga
I
continues.
share. Yeah. So I'm on short-term disability now.
Oh my, oh
Trying
my.
to figure this whole thing out. So I'm not driving
Well, that's
so that I
good.
don't endanger myself and others while, potentially falling asleep at the wheel.
I
It's not a
mean,
good thing.
yeah, it's freaking craziness, man.
Yeah. Well, I've got an appointment in a couple weeks, and we'll see how it goes from there. But other than that, I've just been like rearranging my game room like a crazy person. So you can kind of see it cracked open there behind me, but it's chaos back there. Chaos. Speaking of chaos, how's it going in the Wittenhagen homestead?
Mine's like the opposite of chaos. I have nothing back here at all. Like it's clean as hell. I'm recording on the kiosk still. My chair is like a
Yeah.
kitchen chair right now. So I don't even
Oh,
have
nice.
my because everything is packed up. Yeah. So the movers came in after we recorded last week. Everything's packed up. Shipped out. I think it's moving south now. Because I put an air tag inside of.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you air tagged it.
Yeah.
That'd be
So
really interesting to pay attention to.
my Jeep has been sitting in Yuma, Arizona, near a trailer park home, and it's not the only vehicle there. So I have no
Hmm.
clue. That's been sitting over there for a weekend, all weekend, and then my household goods started to move south. So I don't know how that is shipping. I mean, I also have something in my
Interesting.
eye, so you'll see me fidgeting with that until it clears up. Yeah, so that got all moved, and then over the weekend we went to an oyster place, drank a lot of tequila, which was fun.
Mm-mm.
And then Monday we had some painting done, we had the carpets get cleaned, and we had pictures taken. There's actually a YouTube channel. My wife tagged it or looked it up on Facebook right now, but it's like our
Hmm.
house right now with all the pro pictures and everything. Looks ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
And the value within the last week just went up like a lot of money. Like a lot. We're about to have a bidding war apparently because there's nothing out there. People are hunting for houses because the summer season just started. So
Yeah, man.
I might be moving up sooner than later, and that means Tristan's gonna take over recording because I may not have a house like
I'll
here.
be the tech guy.
Yeah, I
Eh,
mean,
So, yeah, we all know what sort of technical difficulties I've been having, so that should be real interesting.
oh, it'll be fine. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, because the thing is we'll probably have to, if we move out early, we'll have to have an Airbnb local because London, my daughter, has to finish school, which her last day of school is the 24th. So I mean, we still
Oh,
got 22 days of school left
oh
before,
boy.
yeah. So we can't like leave the area. Um, Next week though, on Tuesday, which will be recording day, I am going to be leaving to go visit Josh and Sheena out in North Carolina.
Mhm.
So that'll be
Yeah.
interesting. I might be able to do everything from my phone, and we'll see how that goes for video game bullshit.
Mhm.
Um, we'll do a short one, or we'll do a recording, or we can start recording and uploading on Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, recording ahead of time and just
Yeah.
joining everyone in the chat
Yeah, because
instead.
we upload on the podcast a day later or whatever, and essentially, when I'm in Hawaii, I'm going to be 6 hours behind, which means it's going to be after midnight Eastern Standard Time before realistically, if I was recording right after work and not eating dinner. And like not eating dinner at all on a Tuesday. So, I mean, we'll figure out a day. We'll make it happen, right? Uh-oh. Tristan, you froze on us again. Craziness. Yep. Well, if this stuff goes on, we will continue on. But yeah, so we'll be recording, and we will make sure that it happens and it's going good. I'm not sure.
Oh, I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
No, now I just heard you.
Okay, because my Discord is telling me that it crashed, and I can't get my camera back. So I guess I'll just be a voice,
A
and
voice.
goes.
Hmm.
Oh
Well.
my gosh, this is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep it going.
I thought we had this figured out, and yeah, as soon as we go live, of course, it kicks me off.
I'm clicking around, like, just to see. Oh,
No,
yeah.
it's definitely on my side, and yeah, I don't know what's going on.
No idea.
I just switched over to freaking 1 gig internet, and ever since, I mean, like, I didn't have these issues before doing that, so.
Weird. Yeah, we'll keep it off, and, the camera here will, I'll just pop it off right now, so that way you don't see my picture twice. Tristan will
There
just
you
be
go.
black. There we go. I'll have to have like a fake picture that pops up of you, like in the future. You're pretty funny.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, sorry about that, folks.
oh
Just
yeah,
the nature of the beast.
gotta love the technical difficulties. So outside the moving process, Tristan, the other thing that I've started this week since May started is doing the charity run. So, doing the run for Stop Soldiers Suicide.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so
I saw that you were doing that, and I absolutely had to make sure that you went through that punishment, so I made a donation to you.
yeah, and I
And
mean,
it's for a good cause,
I
too,
think
so.
it's like over double now, whatever the donation goals are. It's getting close to
Oh,
it at
good
least.
deal.
It's awesome. And yesterday on Monday, I'm looking down at my phone. I started off with like 4.5 miles. So I ran 4.5 miles, and I'm running this at like a 9-minute pace. By the way, I'm not like just going slow. Um, and then also because on the website it says you can just get your feet out there, get out there and start walking, running, whatever. So I
Mm-hmm.
also walked my dog Gizmo. So Gizmo and I did a walk, and we did
Oh, cool.
like a little bit over 2 miles yesterday, and then today I ran again, another 2.5 miles, and then took Gizmo for like a 3 mile walk. Um, and the other thing is, I was walking all around my house all day yesterday, moving around shit, moving chairs and couches and stuff. So I had like another 2.5 miles of just walking around the house yesterday. So I am at 14 miles right now. 14 miles right now, and I don't know what I've
Dang.
done. Yeah. So basically, I have to get 25 miles a week, and in 2 days I'm at 14. So getting there.
Good deal. Yeah,
You,
dude, I never even thought about, like whenever you're trying to hit those goals, put it on a pedometer. That definitely counts.
yeah. There's one that I did in February, is the Tashi 100, and that one you cannot count your normal pedometer stuff. It has to
Mm-hmm.
be like a dedicated walk. This one just says get your feet in front of the other. So this is one's
Yeah.
just a support. So I'm just doing whatever I can. Gonna try to get out there every day that I'm not like away from the house, and I'm gonna try to at least run once a day as well. And that way I can keep.
No, yeah, and it seems like all these different like marathons and runs and stuff like that. This is the season for it, so it's
Yeah,
just good
it's
weather
beautiful
now.
out too. I'm still wearing a hoodie in the morning because it's like 50 degrees when I'm out running, so it's pretty
Mm-hmm.
nice. Probably why my eyes itchy though because sweat or whatever from going on a long ass walk with the dog a little bit ago. But it is what it is. He's loving it though. He's passed out on the floor right now. Little guy. And I'll be posting photos on Facebook as I do it. So it's been fun. Let's see. So I got the Switch OLED finally. I pre-ordered the the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Switch OLED, and got the alert to pick it up at Best Buy last week. So I have my copy of Tears of the Kingdom, and I went through the process of transferring everything from my main Switch to this new one. Have you done that before, Tristan?
I have not done a Switch. I have my original launch Switch.
Yeah.
I did not make the transition over to the OLED, but I will real soon here. Mine's supposed to be delivering to me on Thursday.
So one thing to make sure you do, make sure you get a new micro SD card, because I forgot to do that, so I had to wait for one to come in. But also, it's going to ask you as you set up the account, because you got to set up a new account and you can log in and everything. If you skip it and then go to the settings and then link your account, you can move everything over. If you just log into your account, it logs you in with your user, but it doesn't allow you to move all your games and stuff from one card to the other. So it's I have my account. So for me, it didn't work well, but I ended up just downloading the games I wanted, and then I had to redo all of my. I don't know if you did the groups on your Switch, the folders.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, so I had to redo all the folders. So yeah.
Mine's a mess.
I'm very organized with all the stuff. I like to have everything a certain way. So I was messing around with that because even in there I have games that we have signed for premium in a group, games that we're testing for premium in a group, first party Nintendo, my backlog, my favorites.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you would have to be.
Yeah, so I
can get away with being sloppy.
I have it all organized. It looks cool. So I've been doing that, and now that I got a 512 gigabyte card. I got Amazon Basics one for a micro SD card, and so now I'm downloading everything else to the Switch. So that's one thing that's been going on. There was an update to Steam Deck. EMU Deck got a major update. That is the emulation backend for Steam. And they have a big GUI now that shows up when you're on your Steam Deck. It's making the emulation side look more and more streamlined, and it's more and more like a Raspberry Pi, which is nice. But there's a few essential things. Number one is it's one icon now.
Ooh.
And it allows you to integrate everything. You can choose all the options on how you want to set, if you want bezels, if you want aspect ratios, if you want scan lines on every single emulator style, which is very nice. It's very you don't have to jump into the settings on each one. It's it looks pretty. The other thing that's cool though is there's some app integrations. One of them allows you to use the Steam Deck's gyros with certain emulators. So very useful if you want to play Wii U or in Breath of the Wild or something and do aiming. So I haven't messed around with that, but I did enable it. So that would be something that I want to test later. So that would be pretty cool. But it'll go in alignment with
that's really cool.
The episode topic today too. Final thing is, I usually don't buy video games, Tristan, and I actually bought a game this week.
Oh wow!
Might be something we do in the future. I bought a game called After Image. I don't know if you heard of this one.
Yeah. I actually just got my code.
Okay.
Today.
Yeah, so I bought a physical copy of After Image because it's a pretty big game. Nothing I would download and take up space on my Switch or Steam Deck. But I have a physical copy that I got in the mail, and it came in today. So Came in today with
Oh, that's
my
awesome.
crusty hook.
Cool. I wonder. Yeah, I wonder. So Kickstarters, you kind of forget like what you buy. I probably got a physical copy too. I don't know if it's come in yet, but I also got the digital copies. So, I
Yeah.
mean, that's such a beautiful game. I couldn't not back that thing.
I want to say that was one that because I'll heart and follow Kickstarters. That was one I think I forgot to back, so I didn't have a
Mm,
copy. And I was like, well, how the hell am
I
I going to
see.
play it? Because I want to play it. It looks awesome. Um,
Yeah.
and so now I have a copy.
Nice.
So yeah, so that's a pretty cool one though. And then I have a couple recommendations for homework, and it'll be up to you, Tristan, which one we want to do for
Yeah,
following.
I'm kind of intrigued. You kind of like teased it a little bit, but didn't say what you had in mind. So, I can't
Yeah,
wait to hear.
yeah, we got two
Speak.
options.
Yeah.
Yep.
So speaking of purchasing some things, I
Yes.
purchased some rather large items this past week
Uh-oh.
from a friend of Premium, a guy that helped us out during last Portland Retro Gaming Expo. He came through for us in a huge way. Nick Terragino,
Oh yeah, Nick's awesome.
really good guy. He recently purchased a really large farm. Well, not large, relatively speaking. Um, you know, uh, but he's downsizing some of his collection, and rather than it going to who knows where, um, I decided to pull the trigger on a few of the kiosks that he was selling. So
Nice.
I purchased an Amiibo kiosk, an Xbox 360 kiosk, and a Switch kiosk, just
Ooh.
like you have in front of you right now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, my favorite kiosk of all time is the Switch one, and
That thing's
it's
built like a tank, man.
well, it's built like a tank. But the other thing that I love about it is, because the controllers are wireless, it's practical to use as an everyday Switch docked mode
Oh, for
version.
sure.
Like to
Yeah.
me, because the Switch can be docked and undocked, it's like it's flawless.
Hmm.
I would say, as I never had a 360 kiosk, I would say the 360 one's got to be similar,
Yeah,
right?
it is. But it's going to be a dedicated like I have a Japanese 360 that I imported
Yeah.
for all of the shmups that are like you know, region locked and specific to the Japanese 360. So I plan on I had planned on maybe, putting a monitor in on there like in Tate mode, but I think I'm just going to have like the one that came with the kiosk, but then also split it off to one off to the side in Tate mode. That
You
way I can
call it
play all my
Tate.
shooters.
I call it Tate mode.
I do too. I do too, but for the purists out there, I just didn't want to upset them.
Oh, I'll upset them all day. Say it. Uh oh. Did I lose you again, Tristan? Yeah, you popped off. It'd be interesting though to see if Nick has any other crazy items that he's getting rid of, because he probably has a ton of games. Like, hopefully, I'll let you know when you pop back on, Tristan, as well. Because yeah, there you go. You're back on now, or not? Hmm. Yeah. So the Tate mode. It'd be interesting to see with the 360 kiosk, like how you actually have it set up. Definitely want to see the design of the game room once it's done. Hmm. So every 10 minutes, Tristan's audio dies, which is interesting.
Can you hear me, sir?
Hey, now you're back, Tristan. There we go. Every 10 minutes, your audio dies.
It's got to be so annoying for anyone like trying to listening on this conversation. It's just so stilted because of stupid,
Well,
whatever crap going on like internet.
if the audio only one, there'll be no pauses. I just delete all the
That's true.
pauses.
That's true.
So
But
we're
for
good.
anyone watching live, yeah, I guess that's true. It's only going to be
Yeah.
a problem for a few more weeks or whatever.
Exactly.
But
So one thing is, I definitely want to see your setup, but I think we should talk about the story with Nick at Portland when I first met him.
yeah, sure.
It was interesting because first time I ever met the guy, and he's like, he agreed to help us move a couple of games, a tiny little amount of games.
Yeah, just a couple.
And it's just funny is like Josh is trying to ship out games to Scott, and they coordinated to ship them to like a UPS store or something in Portland. And we're like, oh yeah, no worries, it's right by the place, all this stuff. Scott's gonna
Mm-mm.
get it, no problem. Scott like didn't realize that he wasn't gonna be there till the second day of setup at Portland, and we're like, well, we got to get it for setup day. And there's not like a way to like Uber over to this UPS store because there's like downtown and there's a bunch of sidewalks and stuff. So yeah, like your buddy Nick's like, hey, I know premium, whatever. Like I'm a big collector. I'll help you guys out. And that's when we got the picture of you, Tristan, with these giant freaking 100-pound boxes. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why, like, we're just shipping giant 100-pound boxes. Like, we might as well just ship a pallet at that point. Because, like, as big as those boxes were, they were destroyed. But luckily, everything inside was wrapped
Oh
right.
man, yeah, I'm surprised they made it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, I mean, what we normally would do in that situation is just pallet ship and ship it right to the conventional. And
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it just they hand deliver it to your spot. We didn't do that because I was like, oh, it'll just be a few games. Like no. So live and
Mm-hmm.
learn, live and learn. But yeah, it
Yeah,
was very very interesting. Filling up and he had a small car and we like filled up the entire car with.
yeah, but hey, it worked out, and man, he came through for us. He sure did.
Absolutely, it's awesome. Yeah, it definitely comes out, and then they got the big old jean jackets with all the patches on them too, which is awesome. So
Yeah.
got some of their premium swag on there.
Yep.
It's pretty badass. But
Yeah, he's one of those kinds of people. He'll give you the shirt off his back. He's good dude. Good people.
oh yeah, absolutely. It's great that you were able to get his kiosks too, so that way it
Hmm.
stays within the community, which is very important. Very
Yeah.
important. But yeah, man. So do you want to dig into the topic a little bit, or do you want to jump into some bullshit homework? Because the topic goes with news.
You know what? Let's mix it up a little bit. Let's go into the bullshit homework first.
Okay. All right. I'll let you start, and then if you get cut off, I will continue with the baton.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
This was your
So,
homework, Tristan. This is your
this
homework.
was my homework, and I set this homework with the hopes, and this is a little foreshadowing, with the hopes that I might be able to come through this time.
Uh
But alas, Mike Tyson is a punk ass bitch.
oh. He went down. You beat him.
And
You punked him out.
no, hold on a sec. So, all right, Jeff, you played it on
I played it on the
these.
Nintendo Switch, which means
Yeah.
I went versus Mr. Dream instead of Tyson.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So you played it on Nintendo Switch. Coffin played it on his Polymega,
Yeah.
which apparently induced some lag for him. Oh, I don't envy him. I
Uh,
played it on my Play Choice, which introduced some challenges in and of itself, because my Play Choice, both
Interesting.
screens have vertical folding, and they
Oh
they both
no.
need recapped right now.
Yeah, they do.
So I couldn't see the life bars. I couldn't see my hearts. You can't see anything. You can't
You
see the
said
time.
vertical or horizontal folding?
Vertical folding. I
Have
meant
you?
vertical. If I said
No, you
horizontal, I
said
meant vertical.
vertical. If it's vertical folding, you might be able to adjust the little pots inside of the system. There should be some
No, yeah,
pots.
I've tried. I've tried. It's actually some bad caps.
Yeah, because
It's
like
pretty bad.
there's a few pots inside the inside that a lot of people don't know exist in there, and if you tweak them a little bit, sometimes you can adjust
Yeah, I think it's actually like bad caps, so it needs to be recapped. And so I was flying blind, um, but I got better as I went along. But like, dude, I put so many quarters in my play choice because play choice 10, it goes by time. You buy yourself time.
Yeah.
Um, so I want to say I went up to 8,000 seconds, which aren't really seconds. I mean, it counts faster than seconds. But dude, I exhausted all those quarters trying to beat him. I probably like tried fighting him, 60, 70 times in a row. I
Damn.
got to phase 2 a handful of times. I got to round 2 a handful of times. I knocked him down exactly one time.
Okay.
So, I was getting there. Um, I was trying not to like, predict when he was going to do his punch because that's when you get in trouble. You actually have to react to it. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, dude, it's just as hard as I remember, and no, I failed. I failed.
Freaking crazy, man.
Yeah, it's terrible. And I
So
was cussing up a storm too.
oh, I bet. And so the Nintendo Switch, surprisingly, there was really no lag. Like I was playing on
Yeah.
Switch. I didn't like share it or play it like you can share it so people can watch it online or something. I didn't do any of that. Just played it normal. So here's what I did. Let me see if that actually shows up. Ah, it's you can somewhat see it on the screen. So there's what mine did. By decision, the winner is Little Mac versus Mr. Dream.
Hey,
Won.
look at you,
I
by
won
decision.
by surviving.
Yeah, you outlasted.
Yeah, you can't get knocked down. You can't get knocked down. By the way, I lost a little
Dude,
bit.
that's sick, man.
I did lose a little bit of life because after the first round, when he knocks you out with one punch, eventually he does not knock you down. Like you can last a little bit
Yeah.
longer as you play.
Oh,
Um,
for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy the difference between phase 1 and like each of his other phases. Like it's brutal.
yeah, yeah, it was like crazy. Yeah, and I got Mr. Dream. Great fighting. You were tough, Mac. I never seen such finger speed before. Finger speed.
Nice.
And when I got to him, I was 13-0 because I went through it. I actually played through the entire game too.
Oh, cool. Yeah, see, I did the 007 373
Yeah,
5963. That's going to be tattooed in my brain because I put it in so many times.
yeah, because I got like right here on the screenshot that I took, 13-0. So I played through everybody the whole time. Yeah, but it took me a while. The one thing is though is that I can create a save state. So I just did a
Yeah.
save state to the beginning of the fight and fought him again.
Yeah,
Also,
that's
yeah,
what Coffin was saying too for his Polymega.
yeah. So that's kind of how I worked on our other part of the challenge too. So that way I can
Mm.
master. But yeah, it was he's a pain in the ass though because those damn lightning punches. The other thing is for me, and it could just be on the Switch, but going versus Dreams jabs. Those damn jabs were always knocking my ass down.
Oh, yeah, those are just not fair.
They're pissing me off.
Come
And
out of nowhere.
yeah, and it was the same thing with the Mr. Sandman triple uppercuts that he was doing.
Mhm.
The Super Macho Man spinning uppercuts, those were super easy to avoid. He did
Super
like
punch for
five or
13 in a
six.
row.
He was doing like 5 or 6 or 7 in a row, and not an issue.
Uh-huh.
Sandman's freaking uppercuts, and then the jabs by Tyson were the two hardest things to time for me. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
What do you think is the most fun fight out of the entire roster?
the classic for me is probably King Hippo, just because
Okay.
I
Yeah.
had to learn
It's a fun
him the
fight.
hard way back in the day, hitting him in the
Yeah,
mouth and
same.
everything. But now, and it's multiple games, it's Ball Bull. Ball Bull's fun. So you get to time his bull charge. I think
Yeah, it is fun.
Yeah. So I love doing that. And then Super Punch Out Bubbles fight is just as fun. So love that one. That's probably my favorite. What's your favorite?
I don't know. It's pretty early on in the game. My favorite's actually the first Piston Honda.
Okay.
It's pretty fun. I don't know why. I've just always had fun with that fight.
I mean, you get your first title.
Yeah.
Get your training montage afterward. Which is pretty cool. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a good one. So that was only one of the challenges. What was the other challenge?
Yeah, so and it's funny because Coffin, he threw down that challenge at Soda Popinski because he knows I hate him so much. Soda Popinski is the most awkward fighter in that game. It's so weird, man. Like the angles of his punches, it messes with me.
Yeah.
So I can't time him right. And it wasn't actually until like Coffin taught me about like how to get a star punch on the dude, like punch him in the stomach, that I was able to even like last at all. But
Yeah.
dude, I didn't have a time in the first round. I'll just tell you that.
So interestingly, like when I initially played it over the weekend, I was able to finally knock him down first round. No tricks, no secrets. With 0.1 second left.
Oh, nice.
With all three TKO.
259.64.
Yeah, it was something like that, some ridiculous amount, and I was like, "Holy shit! I barely beat him." What was your actual time?
It was 112 in the second round,
Nice.
and I know that because like Coffin came over to help me move around some of the kiosks and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was showing me Soda Popinski on my play choice, and for those of you who have never played Punch Out on the play choice, the play choice 10, like mostly they have two screens, upper screen, bottom screen, and the ones with the upper screen, like it shows you all the like different like strategies and stuff like that, just like text. But another difference between the play choice version and the NES version is that it actually keeps your high scores, your time. So yeah, he put up a time, and the very first try he actually beat my top time, which was I think 114 or 112 in the second round.
Man, so I think unless Coffin was holding on to something, I think I had the top score. Because he posted something, a ridiculous one, and I'm like, looks like I got to pull out my old speed running techniques. All you have to do is 5 moves to knock him down each time.
Oh, that's
5
gross.
moves. So essentially, I did a minute 8 seconds. I did on my second try when I started speed running him.
Nice.
Coffin posted a 110 in the first round. 108 is what I posted. So essentially, all you do, because he does his uppercut to the right twice. So you just hold up and press A, you get a star punch. You hold up and press A, you get a second star punch. Then he goes down for an uppercut. All you do is hold down, and it actually pauses his stance. He doesn't uppercut you. He stays
Yeah, that is the weirdest thing ever, man. Like, it's so weird.
And you get a star. When you jab him and get that star, it then implements the next punch when you hit him. If he doesn't hit you, you knock him out. However, you can't just punch him. So he does another uppercut. You do the same technique. You hit him, and then you hit the uppercut, and he gets knocked down. So essentially, it's up and A, down, and then punch, down, and then punch, and press the start button to uppercut. And you do that 3 times. You knock his ass down. You do it 3 times. Now, if you do 23 seconds, that is essentially a perfect timing. 23 seconds, but you can do it slightly faster. So on the second one, if you get a star for the timing, you can actually, on the second uppercut that he does to uppercut you when you hit him in the stomach, the second one you can do a little faster. You won't get a star, but you shave a second off your time. So technically you can do 22, 22, and 22 and get a 106 with this technique. I got a 108, so I could still shave off 2 seconds off my time. But essentially, Coffin doing the 110 means he hesitated somewhere. 109
Mm-hmm.
should be the quote unquote perfect one, getting 4 stars, 4 stars, 4 stars. Now, I was looking online. I think 46 seconds is the world record, or what I saw, the fastest time. That is, I think, one out of every so many ones, he'll do an uppercut first. So then you can knock him out faster. But it's like generally he's gonna do the double right uppercuts. So yeah. So that's how you go versus Soda Popinski. Every single character in Punch Out has little techniques like that where you can knock their asses down fast. It's how I was able to knock down Glass Joe fast.
That's what I love. That's what I love about the original Punch Out and Super Punch Out, for that matter. And what I hate about the Wii Punch Out, the first 2 Punch Out games, it's RNG heavy, so it's never the same fight twice. Well, hardly ever. I mean, there's a chance that you'll get it, but it's unlikely.
Yeah.
The Wii, it was completely scripted, so it's 100% like memorization, as far as I remember. And I didn't like playing the game because it was just raw memorization. It didn't feel like Punch Out should feel to me. So yeah, I really wish that they would put out another Punch Out, make it like the original or Super Punch Out, and get away from that crap that they did.
The Wii one definitely had the same kind of hacks that you could do to knock out people early. It was just
absolutely.
There was a lot more to it. So I feel like if they did a Switch version of Punch Out Wii and had button controls too, it'd be awesome.
Oh, dude, it'd be amazing.
Because I feel like the motion controls kind of limited what you could do with Punch Out.
Yeah.
I remember I played with the balance board and the motion. It was ridiculous.
A balance board.
Jesus, it was ridiculous. It was cool.
We should have you try and beat Mike Tyson or Mr. Dream now with a Rolling Rocker.
Yeah, just sit there and do that shit. I can barely do the damn thing regularly anymore, man. My reactions are slow as shit. Like it took me a while. Probably about 70 times or so. Beat him. Popinski though.
I'm not gonna give up.
So you're not gonna give up? You're gonna continue on your play choice?
Oh no, I mean as far as our homework, we can move on, but I'm still going to keep trying.
Good. Don't give up. Beat his ass.
No.
Yeah. So so next homework. So I had 2 options. One is, do we want to play a brand new game that's kind of like Zelda and Secret of Mana? It's a game that I'm going to be starting up to try to play a little bit on my Steam Deck, but there's also, I want to say that it's also available on Nintendo Switch. It's called Trinity Trigger. That's an action RPG.
Yeah, okay, I've heard of this one, yes.
Yeah. And I think it's you have multiple different weapons, kind of like Secret of Mana, where you have bows and swords, and you get familiars to help you out and boost your powers, and multiple characters to choose and all that stuff. So that should be an interesting one. Or do we go the other route and use a game that's affordable, or you could play it free because it was just released on iOS, and that's Vampire Survivors. Because I had recently just bought it on Steam, playing it on my Steam Deck, but it also was released on iOS and Android for free, so you can move around on it. And I found out that there's going to be I think a show. I don't know if it's a Netflix show or whatever, but there's definitely it's going to be adapted for a show. Vampire Survivors.
That's so crazy.
Ridiculous. I played the hell out of Vampire Survivors in February. But I was playing a downloaded version or something. So now I have a copy. It's $5 to buy it and $1 or so for the DLC. Which I don't know how to do the DLC or any of that. I just know it's fun as hell. It's addicting. But that one's more casual, whereas Trinity Trigger is going to be more engaged, playing through story. So what do you choose, Tristan? Oh, we lost Tristan. So I see you said you're disappointed you couldn't use the DK bongos for Super Punch Out on the GameCube. Are you talking about the Super Punch Out that was part of Fight Night Round 2 or whatever it was that was available? That's a classic if that's the case.
DK bongos. Oh, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. So, Tristan, what do you choose for your homework since you're back?
I tend to gravitate toward the pick up and play type games like Vampire Survivor.
Let's do it.
Like you were saying, but I would
Oh,
really love an excuse to play Trinity Trigger. So I think that's what I'm going to choose there.
nice. That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. We'll dig into some Trinity Trigger, and we will see what we're doing week to week. Because that game has just been, I think it was just released on Switch because I remember seeing it pop up, but I have it on
Yep,
Steam.
sure
So
did.
I'm gonna play her on Steam. Now, is there a physical of Trinity Trigger yet?
I think so. I think I saw it. Although don't quote me on that.
'Cause
I'm
if there
pretty sure there is.
isn't, a certain physical publishing company would definitely be interested in doing
Oh
Trinity
yeah, that's certain. Yeah.
Trigger.
Wonder who that could be.
Same company that has Wife Quest up for pre-order this week.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, so Trinity Trigger will be the bootleg homework, bullshit homework. And we only got a couple weeks to play it, man.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I keep forgetting that we've got this, timeline now that you're about to make some big transition.
Oh, I'm not even talking about the move. I'm talking
Oh,
about
okay.
Tears of the Kingdom comes out, man.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's
Once
gonna
Tears
take
of the
some time.
Kingdom
Yeah,
comes out, that's gonna take over life. And apparently, we're
yeah,
10
you're
days
absolutely
out right
right
now.
there.
We're 10 days out.
Absolutely right.
So essentially, we'll do Trinity Trigger, see where we're at in a week, what we're gonna do, and then probably either continue it and start Tears, or because we're gonna start Tears of the Kingdom as soon as that comes out. That's
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be life for a little bit.
Yeah. It doesn't even feel real. Like you wait so long for a mainline Zelda game, and then finally we're on the cusp of actually getting it. It doesn't feel real.
Yeah, it's like really close right now. It's gonna be awesome. I hope that
Mm-hmm.
hope it lives up to everything that we want. We'll see. Um,
Yeah.
it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be amazing. But yeah, so we'll be playing some Trinity Trigger. We'll post it up in the Discord channel. Definitely join us in Discord. Post some screenshots and all that. I know we posted a few of Punch Out in our Discord as we were going through, and we're trying to build that up as little as as little as we post in there. We definitely want to build up the Discord a little bit. Um,
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I know Coffin started to post in Facebook with his Punch Out, but I was like, yeah, let's post it in Discord too, because then we can get people to chat with us in our own channel, grow that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I want to say like we had a couple more subscribers as of last week, so we're growing, Tristan, we're growing.
Mm-hmm.
So is it time to talk news and the main topic of the episode?
I think so. And I mean, you were the one who actually, more or less, kind of clued me in on this actually going on. It was a whisper that I just happened upon yesterday, but I didn't really dive into it like you did.
Yeah. So, I saw that it was reported by multiple sites. Definitely not partaking myself, but Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom apparently has been leaked because some stores broke street date. They broke the street date and shipped out games to people.
Mm.
There are copies out there right now. Some people tried streaming it already, and some people
Yeah.
definitely dumped it and uploaded it to torrent websites where somebody could download it and like put it on their PC with an emulator right now. And so that's where it leads to the topic of the episode, piracy. And is piracy ever okay? And that is the interesting thing. Because, like, I would say that like 99% of gamers out there have done some form of downloading a ROM and playing it in an emulator. There's no
Yep.
doubt. Or buying an EverDrive and putting every single ROM on it to play an original cartridge or an original console and all that. So the question is it ever okay? And I feel like there is a set of rules that we could potentially establish on the episode here that could show like there's kind of a line in the sand that you don't want to cross with piracy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And what
Yeah.
are your thoughts with
I
the
I
piracy
totally
thing?
agree, and I'm sorry.
What are your thoughts with the piracy thing, Tristan?
Oh, my thoughts are, where do you begin? Because yeah, it's a slippery slope. Uh,
It's such a slippery slope that his audio died. But yeah, when he comes back, we'll let him continue. But yeah, with the piracy thing though, it's very interesting because there's something like Tears of the Kingdom where Nintendo's definitely going to take action. Oh,
I'm going to
you
more or
hold on a
less.
second, Tristan. Your audio just died. So the interesting thing about Tears of the Kingdom is that I was just filling some time as your audio was dead. Tears of the Kingdom is that it broke street dates. So Nintendo will definitely come after people who download it, who stream it, who share it, do all that. So to me, doing something like that on a first party Nintendo is very dangerous. All right, go ahead,
It's
Tristan.
dangerous and it's brazen, and it's, you're doing something wrong, and you're just inviting big Nintendo to come and sue you or ban your console at the very least.
Yeah. So continue with your description. Hopefully your audio stays.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so what I was going to say is it's a slippery slope, and there's no real cut and dry answer because, you know, even if you're talking about like games that are not available anymore to play or to purchase,
Mm-hmm.
or games that are just out of reach financially for you. So how else are you going to play it? It's still piracy. It's still an IP that belongs to another company, not you. You don't own the license to that property. Um,
Nope.
However, and the slippery slope part is, who's it hurting? Um,
Mm-hmm.
with like a 20 to 30 to, however old video game, there's probably not a whole lot of hurt that you're
Hmm.
doing to the company that owns the IP, because it's just, with just take Little Samson for example.
Hmm.
They haven't done anything with the IP for how many years? They're probably not going to care. Do you know who owns Little Samson? Is that still Taito? Is it still around? I don't know.
In theory. Now,
Sure.
so
Yeah.
I'll play
Someone owns that IP.
and I'll play devil's advocate with you after you finish.
Sure. Oh, I completely agree. And I expect people to disagree with whatever I say because, again, people have their own opinions on this stuff.
Yeah.
So,
So one question though,
yeah,
so you would say that something where a console is past its lifespan makes it more okay?
I would say yes.
Okay. Okay, so
But
that's
but then you get
one
those
rule.
there's
That's one
but then you
rule.
get those
There's always
occasions.
gonna be second, third order effects. So we'll definitely define all the if, ands, or buts, all the
Sure.
connotations. But so one thing is console past its prime. All right. So what
Hmm.
is your if, ands, or buts now?
So I was going to say, but then you'll run into those situations where, like, those IP holders will actually put out compilations. Now, does that hurt their sales that you've already been playing it, or does it help their sales because you're so fond of the game that you love and are
You
willing to spend
created the
money on?
nostalgia. Yeah, so I would say because there's a it's a little more complicated than just a collection. So Nintendo's a perfect example. I played Punch Out on the Switch, on Nintendo Switch Online. So
Hmm.
Nintendo Switch Online is a way for Nintendo to make money on my subscription. In the
Yeah.
past, with going all the way back to the Wii, when it started with the Wii, you would buy those for money, monetary value.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that back in the Wii U 3DS era, I would say it's worse to play and bootleg a retro game that would potentially be on those consoles. And that could go up to TurboGrafx 16 on the Wii.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
Bonk's Adventure, because if I have it sitting on my EverDrive, on my Turbo EverDrive, I'm not going to buy it on the Wii with an inferior emulator. I'm going to play it on the original tech.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Switch, it does change things because you're paying one monthly thing and Nintendo is licensing that. So I think that your theory, your stance, your nostalgia comment makes a lot more sense in the modern era of Nintendo Switch and Xbox Online because Xbox Live because with those they're just licensing the IP from the IP holder and they're not
Mm-hmm.
making individual money because there are IP holders like
Yeah.
Eliminator Boat Duel that is on the Switch Online, and the IP holder is getting money from Nintendo to have that on the Switch Online eShop, along with every other game on Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, N64, Game Boy, and Game Boy Advance. All six of those consoles. Any game that's not first party Nintendo, which includes like GoldenEye, they are licensing
Mm-hmm.
the rights for that every month. That also means
Yeah.
that that game could go away if they discontinued that license. Kind of like Mike Tyson's Punch Out going into normal Punch Out when they removed the IP.
Yeah.
However, that you don't own it, so it just goes by. It just one day it'll be gone. You won't be able to play it on the Switch Online anymore once you update the app.
Yep.
So to me, the consoles have to be older. I get the whole if you own the game, you could essentially download the ROM. However, what you mentioned, you still don't own the IP. So unless you're like ripping your own personal copy, which nobody's doing, they're downloading the damn ROMs online. But if you ripped your own personal copy, then I got it. Like it's in your own contained ecosystem. It's your cartridge,
Mm-hmm.
and then you did the digital version. However, even Nintendo is using ROMs that they got online for these emulation systems on consoles. So I remember,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, they are.
I remember that like somebody called them out for that back in the day, where like they when they put it into an emulator wrapper or something on one of the consoles, like it was a widely available ROM. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, is like it's a complicated process to do it the quote unquote right way. So the other thing is though, so now let's fast forward. So what about modern piracy? So piracy on something that is not a defunct console, because technically, like the Wii U's a defunct console. So is Wii U piracy okay?
Um. So let's start with the easy answer first. Let's start with the low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Switch emulation. Is Switch piracy? I think is wrong. It's the games are available whether it be digitally or physically,
Mm-hmm.
and you can go out and purchase those games. They are available. Yes, some of them are more expensive to have physically, but for the most part, you can get that game and you can play it if you want to.
What
Um,
about Vita piracy? Because that one to me is probably the biggest case scenario. Because you can go on a website right now, buy a
hmm
Vita game cartridge with a micro SD slot on it, put it
Yeah,
in your
yeah,
console, and it connects to this homebrew channel, and you can download every damn Vita game and PSP game and PS1 game directly onto it without having to pay a dime.
yeah.
Where
I
that
know.
becomes complicated is a lot of the games on Vita are available online still for purchase on Steam and other consoles. You won't be able to play them on your, Vita, but you can still play them and support the developers.
exactly. And that's where the harming the indie, harming indie developers and harming doing harm to those IP holders um, comes into play.
Yeah.
Uh, so if you love a game enough, you should be willing to put your money behind it, so that those uh, developers can survive and make more content for you.
Hmm.
Um,
Interesting. I agree.
yeah.
Now, where I think it becomes very interesting, let's use a example. All right, so IP holder, not the game developer. Let's use A Boy and His Blob. Okay?
Mm,
All
hmm.
right. A Boy and His Blob. I assume that whoever owns the IP is not the game developer right now. I don't think David Crane owns the
Yeah.
IP
Yeah.
for it. If he does,
Probably not.
then it kills the whole example. But let's say that. So I love A Boy and His Blob, for example. Say I do. I think it's okay. But say I was like, I love A Boy and His Blob. However, I have the ROM sitting on my EverDrive, whatever. But a company like Limited Run Games has now ported that to modern consoles. I assume just
Hmm.
Switch, but maybe it's on other consoles. And they're selling a physical. So, and it's a limited physical. So is that something where I should and have to buy A Boy and His Blob on modern consoles because I want to pirate it or I want to play it on my EverDrive or I want to play it? Like, I'm not downloading Limited Run Games' code and playing it on like a Switch or
Yeah.
something. I'm just wanting to play it on the NES like I did when I rented it back in the day as a kid. So that's
Mm.
where it gets interesting. What are your thoughts on that?
That's where there are no easy answers, and I mean you just have to come to your own conclusions and have to be comfortable with the decisions that you make, but understand that owning again owning that code that you do not own
Mm-hmm.
uh, opens you up to litigation. I know that they're not going to come after like onesie twosie people, but they have litigated against these like ROM sharing sites that have taken the same stance but on a grander scale. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, like easily accessible without having to
sure.
dig into the NES game. However,
Yeah.
still not right.
Yeah.
It's still
It's still
not right.
technically not right, and
Nope.
yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, if I own a game, like if I've got a copy. Here's another example. I've got a copy of Castlevania Dracula X Nocturne in the Moonlight on Sega Saturn. That
Mm-hmm.
game is a little bit difficult to play because it's in Japanese.
Yeah.
There have been teams that have patched the game to play in English. Obviously, I own the game. I paid for the game, and but I want to play it in English. So does that make it right that I've got this ROM that I don't own that I'm playing in English just because I own the game physically? Um,
You just
I'm okay
opened
with
a
it.
new can of worms, Tristan. So
I know.
now we're not talking about piracy 1-to-1. Now we're talking about
Just
something.
changing it slightly, you
Well,
know.
no, not even changing it, but making it accessible. Because you're
Mm-hmm.
talking accessibility. Because there's also
Okay.
changing, but you're talking
Sure.
accessibility. So there was something that a community was involved in, Game Center CX2 on the 3DS, a translated
Yeah.
version.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody might have made a manual for it. And 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 the thing is though is that that game was released as Retro Game Challenge, the first one, and was
Hmm.
released in the U.S. The second one never got a U.S. release. However, it's an
Tragically.
amazing compilation of retro-inspired video games, and this one delved into Game Boy and Super Nintendo and everything else, whereas the first one was
Hmm.
primarily NES. Um, inspired. And so, the fact is that you have ROM translations, and there are thousands of translations out there that make it so that you can play and enjoy it without reading the native language and understanding the native language. Is that okay? Because you're not taking away a sale because you could not have played and enjoyed that game otherwise. And now we jump into your nostalgia thing, whereas if I play Retro Game Challenge 2 and I build a new enjoyment out of it, and then I go and watch fan-translated episodes of Game Center CX and get a love of the Japanese culture, I go to Japan on a trip and spend thousands of dollars on video games and the economy. Is that a bad thing?
Yeah, that's
You know what I
that, and
mean?
that's where things are just complicated. You
Exactly.
summed it up very well. Things are very complicated, and they're not black and white. Um,
Yeah. And I mean, you got stuff like you were talking slight modifications. There are hacks out there of games that basically create brand new versions. You have like Metroid Rogue
yeah,
Dawn, which is
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
brand
yeah,
new
yeah.
Metroid. You have multiple,
Uh huh.
Metroids, Castlevanias, Mario, Zelda hacks all over the place. There are brand new games. Super Mario
Yeah,
3 Mix is a perfect example.
and I mean, and it doesn't even have to necessarily be built on the skeleton of the game itself. I mean, like people,
Yeah, people create their own, as your audio dies. People have their own, and they make their own
and make.
version. There we go, Tristan. You're back?
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So
Only
people,
barely, I'm sure.
yeah. So people, yeah, you were talking about people made their own version of their own
Yeah,
game.
people made their own version. There's like what Pokemon Uranium. I mean, but like Nintendo's always
Deadpool.
going to go after those people because they don't own the IP.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and, whether or not it's free or not, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. They're the IP holders. They get to make that final determination, not you. It doesn't matter what you've decided in your brain, whether it's okay or not. It's up to the IP holder whether it's okay for you to have that.
Yeah.
And that comes down to, are they going to litigate against you or not? They have every right to. They're probably not going to.
Yeah, it's the Wild West, and I mean, I remember, I think I was in Germany, and I wanted to watch. I think it was a UFC fight with Brock Lesnar in it,
Hmm.
and I couldn't watch it because I was, overseas. And so one of my buddies, we found a website, we torrented it, and the company from UFC, the backbone of the company, actually contacts the IP provider and tells you, do not download this. So
Yeah.
Nintendo could do the same thing. However, they do it from the ROM sharing websites because those files are so tiny that you can't track them. Because with the torrents, it's up there for download for a while because the files are
Yeah.
decent size.
See, and,
Versus
and that's the
yeah,
difference between being a small time, like playing a ROM here and there, and yeah, it's okay with,
and
you're
downloading
justifying it.
Tears of the Kingdom 10 days before
Yeah,
it's available.
exactly. You're at that point, you are waving a giant middle finger at Nintendo
Yeah.
and freaking wearing a big neon sign saying "Sue me." That is,
Well,
you're an
and
idiot.
and I think that there's a lot of people too that just they don't necessarily they're not going to not buy the game. They just want to play it 10 days early to explore
Oh,
around.
absolutely. Yeah,
Um,
there's that whole I want to feel special thing as a gamer, like I've got it early,
but to
you know,
me,
get those Twitch
it's
views.
never as fun the second time as it is the very first time you play it. And I want to, on release day, pop in the cartridge. Hopefully, it doesn't have to
Hmm.
be updated. And I get to enjoy the first few hours of the game. Like, nothing going on. I don't want to stream it or nothing. I just want to enjoy that game. On the console,
Oh, and
that
I'm
is
sure you don't want it spoiled for you either.
nope. And so I got to
Yeah.
avoid anything crazy online right now too.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think that we're gonna realistically see anything at this point that hasn't been in a trailer, and I don't go trailer quiet. I watch the trailers.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, I enjoyed the trailers that popped up. So I don't think that they're gonna be showing anything too crazy. I'm just gonna avoid like any type of crazy post. Hopefully Nintendo's ahead of the game and they're like shutting all that crap down.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too, and especially a game like Zelda where like it's all about secrets and just
Yeah,
finding awesome stuff that you just had no idea was there and exploring. It's an adventure game. I mean, half of the game is just going exploring.
exactly. And yeah, when Zelda comes out, like you and I will, well, I mean, we'll start playing it, but we'll just give an update on the next bullshit what we're doing. But we won't necessarily.
Yeah.
The bullshit homework's not gonna. It's gonna just be we're gonna be playing Zelda.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
just
for
gonna
sure.
be life. But yeah, like I agree though with the piracy thing. That it is a big middle finger to the IP holder. And I feel like Nintendo will be very swift to make sure nothing gets out. I
They
remember,
always are.
what was it like a few weeks ago to a month ago that they went after the people who leaked on a Discord channel the strategy guide for Tears of the Kingdom,
Yeah.
and they that got shut down. And I think they may have contacted GameStop to fire someone who had leaked pictures of the console, the OLED Switch
Yeah.
OLED console,
They did.
just pictures. So if they're doing all
Mhm.
that, they're going to go really hard with whomever leaked this thing, and potentially anybody that goes on that torrent website, because I'm pretty sure it's a torrent link that's being shared, and downloads that
Mhm.
thing. I would not be doing any of that craziness.
Oh, why
It's
would you?
10
Dude,
days.
it's 2 weeks away. It's
Yeah.
10 days away. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean,
Just
and I mean,
don't be an idiot.
just join us, play Trinity Trigger. like enjoy the experience with us and have fun with the 1,000 other games in your backlog until we get to Zelda. And in all honesty, I had a
Mhm.
goal, and I'm going to fail that goal, Tristan. My goal was to replay Breath of the Wild, and I want to say I only got one, maybe two Divine Beasts down.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I did go into Ganon's castle and souped up all my weapons and all that stuff. But because I you can go early, so I went early and just ran around and kind of like leveled up my weapons. But I definitely haven't beaten it again because I deleted my save back in the day like a Dumbo because I didn't realize I could just play it on a different account.
Oh crap.
So I deleted so I could start again, and then I never got back.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to get the motorcycle. That was my goal. Get the Zelda motorcycle.
Yeah, I never got that.
Nope. No, I think I got two into the because I think you have to go versus all the divine beasts at a harder version. And I
Yeah.
think I got one or two in.
So while it's cool that they give you a motorcycle to like jet around in, but I hate stuff like that you can unlock at the very end of the game because it's like there's no purpose for it. You've already
Mm-hmm.
done everything in the game. Like, why do you need it?
Exactly, and like I'm pretty sure you could use it to traverse faster to get the poops. And when I say poops, I mean
Oh, okay, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Korok
There you
seeds.
go. Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but I think from what I've seen with Tears of the Kingdom, there's plenty of automation options.
yeah.
So I feel like there's going to be a lot of opportunities because that little combine mechanic should be very interesting for us to experience.
Yeah, we're now on to Zelda Minecraft. Oh, heaven help us.
I call it Zelda nuts and bolts, like Banjo
Yeah,
Kazooie.
Zelda nuts and bolts. Yeah,
Nuts
that's
and
good too.
bolts. Um, yeah,
Uh-huh.
no, it's going to be a different experience. I hope that there's a way to play it more traditionally in Zelda, and I'm
Uh,
also hoping that we got some damn dungeons. Like, I hope we get some dungeons.
oh yeah, straight up, dude. Yeah, that was kind of missing in
Yeah, like
Breath of the
the
Wild.
divine beasts with their little puzzles were okay, but I just felt like I wanted to continue on and move on because I enjoyed the overworld. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the quests in the overworld. That was really fun with Breath of the Wild, but I was missing that creative, unique dungeons.
Yeah, as long as there's no like quintessential water temple, I'm all for whatever they throw at me.
Yeah, I mean, having to switch. pause and switch was not fun. It was much better on the 3DS. I don't know if you ever played the 3DS version of
I've
Ocarina.
heard about it that they nerfed it, like made it a lot more intuitive and easier.
Well,
But
you could use the touchscreen to switch.
mhm,
So you just click a
mhm,
button and touch screen to switch between stuff, so you don't have to pause ever.
that's right.
And it looks a lot better. The graphics look great. Um, I was hoping that somehow they were going to port the 3DS ports to Switch. I was like really
Hmm.
hoping, because that would have been awesome to get like Majora's Mask and Ocarina on the Switch. But
Yeah, it really would be, and that's where I wish Nintendo would trust other companies to work with their IPs and like port things like that, because I think they're stretched so thin that good ideas like that, typically like 9 times out of 10 are just like they fall into the realm of like not worth our time, or
yeah,
according to Nintendo, even though like dude, people would buy the crap out of it.
yeah. I mean, it would print money, and I mean, hell, just think about like the Mario movie went over $1 billion now.
A billion
A
dollars.
$1 billion, which means we're gonna see a lot more Nintendo movies.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. I hope we get a Zelda. I hope we get a Metroid. I hope
Yeah,
they do
we'll get a
Metroid.
Zelda. That's for certain.
Well, I feel
Metroid,
like
maybe,
if they do
who
Metroid,
knows?
they do it like Halo and do a show.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, I feel like if they did it like Mandalorian, that would be
Mm-hmm.
preferable. Zelda, that'd be amazing. I want to see a Lord of the Rings style movie.
They need to do Punch Out and have Sylvester Stallone direct it.
There's no way they would ever do Punch Out. Just like I don't even think they would do the Wii Punch Out, because it's so insensitive, culturally insensitive.
Oh, dude, it's so bad. It's so cringy.
I mean,
Oh
they
God.
added, when you knock out Glass Joe, a bunch of French
Yeah.
croissants fly. Like, it's so terrible.
Croissants and baguettes.
Baguettes. It's so terrible. Like, oh man, yeah. There's no
Yeah.
way that would survive. I mean, they'll definitely do a sequel to Mario. That's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see that for sure. But it's
We won't
really,
see it for like another 3-4 years, but yeah, we'll see it.
well, it depends on what Illumination wants to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what we get with this the Zelda game, and what interesting things they did not show us, or purposely did not show us in the trailer. One of my assessments is that there's going to be this short battery life on the mechanical things, kind of like the weapon breakage. So I kind of noticed it, but it didn't in the trailer, where you're like shooting up in the air or flying with a machine, and it'll probably like break apart in seconds.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And so there's going to be ways where you're going to have to maximize it and do all this, the puzzle piece to it, just like you had to do the mess with the mechanics of the gravity and things in the first Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I mean, I just wish you could repair your weapons in Breath of the Wild. So maybe they allow you to repair things in Breath of the Wild to make them stronger, reinforce them, whatever. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my major gripe. It just I miss the good old days of, hey, you find a weapon, you have an upgraded weapon.
Or at least let you keep the Master Sword and use the second weapon
Yeah,
separately.
come on. Yeah, seriously. Like what the come on now.
Because, I mean, I was always wanting to
Master
have
Sword.
one of each type. So I'd want like a big boulder smasher, whether that be the sledgehammer or the giant boulder smash. You always want a Korok leaf so you could push stuff. You always want a wand or two. Like, there's always stuff that you wanted. So it would be a lot more beneficial to have the sword plus that stuff, instead of being able to just throw the Master Sword away if you want to.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, it's so
Weird
dumb.
choice. It's a freaking Master Sword. Come on now.
Yeah, like, and it breaks and then replenishes.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. Um,
If
but
you say so.
hopefully the new one fixes some of those things. It'll probably introduce new, and it'll be amazing, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be huge, Huge game, man. I remember playing the first Breath of the Wild right when the Switch was released, day of, and I just remember going through that initial area, and it was like so big. Just the initial
Oh, dude, it was.
it was like a
Yeah,
full
man.
Zelda game. And then when I finally got all the pieces and it opened up the big world, and I was like going down this corridor where there was like walls on the sides, and I'm going through this big, like, not a corridor, but like going through this giant like mountain that was like, it was like carved, like a path carved into a mountain, and there's stuff on both sides. And then came across one of those one-eyed Cyclops giants, and
Mm-hmm.
come across a damn Lionel, and it's like, get your ass
Yeah.
destroyed.
Oh, the Lionels. Oh gosh.
And this is before I even got to the first area where they introduce you to the Lionel, and you got to get the
Yeah.
electric, because the first area that you typically will go to will be the water area, but you can go to any area first. That's usually the first one you wander to, because the way that Nintendo laid it out, it made it easier to accidentally wander there. But I went to a completely different area. I was lost as shit. It was great. It's amazing. And the thing is,
So we didn't know each other whenever. Oh, go ahead.
no, continue.
I was gonna say we didn't know each other whenever you played the game. So you didn't know about uh what do you call me, Saint Ibarra?
Saint Tristan of Ibarra.
There you go, Saint Tristan of Ibarra. But anyway, on the map of Breath of the Wild, there's actually an Ibarra Butte, Butte,
So
Ibarra Butte.
Ibarra's butt is over there.
Yep, but Ibarra's butt is on the map.
Nice. What is in the crest of Ibarra's butt? What is in the crack? The crevice.
I'd have to go back and check. I don't remember. It's like where
Is there
the
a little
like
Korok seed in there?
majestic hangs out or something. I don't know. It's around there.
The Ibarra's butt has a Korok seed in the crack. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I interrupted you for that.
You interrupted me for Ibarra's butt, and now I'm
Yep,
sidetracked. It's perfect.
worth it.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting playing Trinity Trigger too, for what we're doing for Bullshit Homework, because that one is like a like more like a Super Nintendo style, but action RPG, but more looks like PlayStation-y graphics.
Okay. Hey, you got me sold, man.
Yeah, like maybe PS2. Full voice acting though.
Cool.
Full voice acting. It sounds cool. It looks cool as shit though. And I do love my action RPGs. I love my Metroidvanias. Those are my two favorite genres.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that'll be a good one to try out. See how we do in a week. Hopefully, Coffin's doing okay. And
Yeah, we'll find out. I'll reach out to him after.
yeah,
He's definitely missed, but yeah, I bet you anything he's just exhausted from this week.
well, yeah, and I mean we're on track to doing a shorter episode this week, which is good too because we both could use it. Uh,
Yeah, definitely. Oh, dude, I'm
I
just
mean,
wrecked right now.
yeah, I gotta wake up early and run more too, which is gonna be great. Yay!
Mhm.
Make sure I don't get in too much trouble. But yeah, I feel like that's a good episode. We talked about piracy and kind of laid out in terms. Is it ever okay? The answer is it depends. It
It
depends.
depends, and it's what you're comfortable with. But just know that what you're comfortable with doesn't necessarily match up with the reality of the fact that you don't own the game.
Well, and then I would argue that if you're comfortable saying "f you" to a bunch of developers, that's not okay. Because I mean,
No,
parroting
absolutely not.
games that are readily available will never be okay.
Mm-hmm.
There is the excuse that I am going to play it because there are thousands and thousands of games out there, and I will try it, and if I like it, I will buy it. But if that's the case, that developer will create a demo. So they create a demo, that's fine, 100% fine.
Yeah.
Download the demo, play it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a different story than just. And the other option is you can always watch a video on YouTube to try it.
Yeah, or someone play it on Twitch or something.
Exactly. You can watch somebody experience it for a little bit before you play
Hmm.
yourself. Because I mean, there's not much difference of watching it and playing it outside of actually enjoying it yourself. So it always depends. I would always say if the console is still active and still or still has games that are active, which means just because the PlayStation Vita is done doesn't mean it's okay to start pirating all the games when those games are still readily available to be supported on modern consoles, including Steam. And Steam's going strong, and you can support all these indie developers.
Absolutely.
And then if the IP holder is the developers, I feel like it's a little more slippery to get a original game, because I would be more comfortable supporting the original developers. So a perfect example, a Kickstarter went up for brand new game. It was on Montezuma's Revenge. And the IP holder of Montezuma's Revenge is the game developer. He was working with Second Dimension to make a physical copy, but the IP holder was part of that. So pirating Montezuma's Revenge on the NES, because the ROM is available in a big bulk upload, isn't necessarily okay when you can actually support the game's developer to get a copy. Same thing with NES Homebrew and NES aftermarket stuff. If the developer creates a Twitch, a itch.io, and you can download it for free, or they put it like up on the NES makers forums for free to play and try, or a demo, that's cool. But if they have, the only way, so for example, when Joe Granado releases Mystic Searches, if he doesn't make that available online as a free download or something, like, people should buy that game and experience what he has spent 10 years of his life on. Like, or probably longer, since he was a kid when he started designing it. But you know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing. It'd be the same thing, Tristan, if somebody shared a digital copy of your book.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd have mixed feelings. Like I love that people enjoy it, but I mean, it we spend all this time, and there are development costs associated with making this stuff. So, if you really enjoy it that much to own it digitally, and pirate it, why wouldn't you support the person who made it?
And I was against doing, like, digital versions of my books for the first, 5 years I was doing it. Eventually I started doing PDF versions because it's fine. I don't put them in a repository where they're up forever, though, because then that stuff gets shared. I usually just put it up on a website that has about a 1 week shelf life. So that way that link is able to be shared. If people still want to upload it and pirate it, they're going to find a way anyways. But I'm not going to make it easy. And that even includes, books that I haven't had in print. So, for example, my NES book has been out of print forever. Well, I just did a new reprint of that. So there's still an opportunity for people to get the book now. And there are people, Tristan, that have brazenly asked, can I get a download of that? To me. Like, of multiple books. They just ask. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go on Amazon right now and sign up. It's like some of my older books I have on Amazon. So if you do the Kindle, Amazon Kindle with Amazon Prime, you can just view a bunch of my books. I did some older ones. I haven't done Switch Collector or anything newer. I'm gonna have to get somebody to port them properly because I don't know how to port them to Kindle. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I'm not just gonna give people everything I worked on. That's ridiculous. And so that is a microcosm compared to working on a video game and people pirating that. Same thing, man. So what were you saying?
No, I was just agreeing with you.
I was saying there's a lot of
Totally
work.
agree.
Yeah. So to me,
A lot of work.
yeah, that's the slippery slope. Is like you can compare it to other things, and I mean, it's different with us with premium edition games because we're directly supporting the game developers, and we're making physical packaging based on agreements and authorizations and working with Nintendo and Sony. So it's like we're doing everything on the up and up, and we're
Mm-hmm.
working with the game developers. So we also see the time and efforts that they put into this stuff. And
Yeah.
it's not fair to them if they work on a game for 5 years and then somebody just downloads it. So it actually gives us more of an appreciation working on this side too.
Very much so.
Yeah. Um, However, I ain't gonna judge you if you have a bunch of ROMs of Super Nintendo games on a Super Nintendo Everdrive and are playing it. Um, that stuff is expensive as hell to collect cartridges now.
Mm-hmm.
That's just it. I still feel like it is not cool to do a port of that and download the port of that that's on a modern console, that same game. But doing ROMs, it's ROMs, whatever. That's just my stance on it. Old school ROMs are
Yeah.
of original games that you can't buy unless they're scalped for thousands of dollars. Like I'm
Yeah.
over that. Once it gets to that point, I feel like we're good. Because again, too, the developers aren't getting any of that money. That's going to a reseller. It's going to somebody else.
That's right.
So to
Mm-hmm.
me, if the
They've already made
developer
their money. All the copies are already there, and they've already made all the money they can.
exactly, and if by some random happenstance chance somebody releases The Boy and His Blob on NES cartridge or Mega Man 2 on NES cartridge, and somebody really wants to get that version or something, cool. I don't think that should be even a mandatory thing, because a lot of times that goes to the IP holder, not the developers. So I'm also okay with that,
Yeah.
because it's like it's not necessarily the same. But I won't judge anybody for getting some rounds, Tristan.
Yeah. I think the last thing that I'll say is if you try and profit from something that you do not own, if you try and sell ROM sets,
Yeah.
if you try and make your own game
If you try to make your own game, is what Tristan said.
100% wrong.
Yeah. So if you try to make your own game, you said it's 100% wrong?
Yeah, 100% wrong if you're trying to profit from someone else's IP and work.
Yeah. Um, what are your thoughts then on the slippery slope of doing a ROM hack that somebody sells and makes money on?
As long as you have the person who owns the IP, if you have their permission, that's the only way that I would say that it's 100% okay.
Okay, so like, for example, doing a hack of Ninja Gaiden into Deadpool, and they don't have the IP of Ninja Gaiden or Deadpool. Um,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
double
I see
dangerous
what you're
because
saying.
that's
It's
Marvel.
yeah, yeah. It's whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, I mean that's a really badass hack too. That's like its own
It
game.
really is. It's
It's
an
so
awesome
good.
game, but I mean, at the end of the day, they have opened themselves up to litigation.
Yeah, and so it's very interesting. I have seen people that started in hacks and all that stuff, then move into homebrew and new stuff or modern stuff. So that's been really cool
Uh,
as an opener. There are people like Sega who hires the people. Like I think it was
yeah,
Christian Whitehead.
I think that is the exact thing that you should do
Yep.
as a company.
But I also
Hire
don't
the
think
people.
that Christian Whitehead was trying to profit off the games. I think he was just making ROM hacks and people loved them.
Yeah.
And then he did ports to iOS and then did Sonic Mania, which was freaking amazing. So
I
I feel
mean,
like that's the
take those
perfect way.
passionate people, take those passionate people from the community
Yeah,
and make them work for you. Like, why wouldn't you want them on your side?
exactly. Get the people,
Nintendo?
get the people that are the most passionate. Make them
Yeah.
work for us, and then we get more games and more fun games.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I 100% agree. I feel like that is the best case scenario,
Mm-hmm.
and it's super cool. I was hoping that Coffin would pop on, but he didn't pop on for us tonight. I think we could call
Yeah,
it.
we'll see him next week.
Yeah, I think we could call this episode. Put a bow on it. This is a fun one. Piracy is never an easy topic, but I feel like there's some consistent lines there, and either way, I mean, people are gonna do it. You're not gonna be able to stop it. I feel like there is one other thing that does make it somewhat okay, and it's literally from a preservationist standpoint. So certain things would not be available,
Yes.
would
Yep.
be gone without piracy. Stuff as the
Yep.
broadcast satellite BS Zelda stuff with the original recordings from the radio and things like that aired during that time. Some of that stuff would not exist without piracy. The profiting piece, I think, is the slippery slope, that's like non-negotiable. So somebody in chat said, what about, or they say that they think that selling a ROM hack physically and only charging for the cost of the cart and the packaging is okay. Interesting. If
I
they're
agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I feel like the cartridge and the packaging is, a marginal cost.
Yeah, because then at that point you're paying for the presentation. You're not paying for the game. I understand that I'm justifying it, but that's what I'm comfortable with.
Yeah, and to me, it's like buying one of those two is also supporting the person that made the packaging. Another example is the guys out there, and there's like 2 or 3 websites that do it now that make manuals for Nintendo Switch games without manuals. So you're supporting their layout work, but they're making money off of an intellectual property and IP that they don't own. So if you're making a Metroid Prime remaster manual, you don't own the IP to Metroid Prime. I do feel like those are a bit expensive too. Like $20 or $30 is a bit expensive.
Yeah, that's a bit excessive.
Yeah. So I remember in the Playcast, the Switch Media Playcast back in the day, we had talked about being excited as somebody was making some of those. And but then the prices were like, it was just, they're making a ton of them, and it was pretty cool. It was literally collector's checklist or something for the games. But it ended up being it's not as okay as us, like, as premium, if we like worked with the company and then added better packaging to it for a release, for a variant release or something. That's different. If you're working with the company, because then the company makes some money. So, so the cost of the cart and the packaging, though, that's a good point. I like that. Anything else you want to say in closing, Tristan?
No, I thought this was a really interesting topic. Great choice.
Yeah, it was a fun one. So for everybody that's listening and watching, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Check us out in our Discord. And if you don't have the Discord, definitely follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're all over the place. There is a VGBS on Facebook now too, as well. So we have a Facebook group for Video Game Bullshit. And so definitely follow us and communicate. So we'll be playing, the Trigger game.
Trinity Trigger.
The Trigger game. Trinity Trigger. So this will be a fun one. This will be a cool one to play as we do it. And I will be running, so follow me on Facebook. I'll be posting my progress as I continue to, as Tristan says, watch me sweat. Watch my pain. Yeah,
good stuff, man.
My
Good
knees
cause.
are sore,
Very good cause.
My knees are sore, but it's for a great cause.
Yeah.
Great cause, man. All right. We will see you next week. Have a great one.
Have a good one.